The sun hung low over the Mesa Verde, casting long shadows across Jack Morrison's weathered face as he mended yet another section of fence. 23 years he'd worked this land, 23 years of sunrise to sunset, winter storms to summer drought, with nothing but his horse Thunder and the occasional coyote for company. His ranch stretched for miles in every direction, a testament to his father's vision and his own stubborn determination. But the isolation that had once felt like freedom now pressed against him like the weight of the endless sky. The nearest town, Redemption, lay a hard day's ride south, and Jack hadn't made that journey in months. The work was honest but unforgiving. Cattle to tend, fences to repair, predators to ward off. His hands bore the scars of barbed wire and rope burn. His back ached from years of lifting and hauling, and his heart had grown as weathered as the wooden posts he drove into the unforgiving earth. At 38, Jack had resigned himself to this solitary existence. He'd had chances to leave, offers to sell the ranch, invitations to join cattle drives, but something always held him back. Maybe it was loyalty to his father's memory, or maybe it was fear of what lay beyond the familiar boundaries of his land. As twilight painted the sky purple and gold, Jack mounted Thunder and began his evening patrol. The ritual was as much about checking on his stock as it was about maintaining the illusion that he wasn't completely alone in the world. Tonight, however, would shatter that illusion forever. The first thing Jack heard was the sound, a woman's voice, raw with terror, calling out in the gathering darkness. He pulled Thunder to a halt, his hand instinctively moving to the Winchester rifle secured to his saddle. "Please, someone help me." The voice came from a thicket of mesquite and sagebrush near the eastern boundary of his property. Jack had ridden this route countless times, but tonight something was different. Thunder's ears pricked forward, sensing the disturbance. Dismounting quietly, Jack approached the brush with practiced stealth. Years of hunting had taught him to move like a shadow, and now those skills served him well. Through the tangled branches, he glimpsed a figure huddled against a boulder, a woman in a torn dress, her dark hair matted with dirt and blood. "Ma'am?" Jack called softly, not wanting to startle her. "Are you hurt?" The woman's head snapped up, revealing a face marked by bruises and exhaustion. She couldn't have been more than 25, with intelligent brown eyes that now held the wild look of a hunted animal. "Stay back," she whispered urgently. "They might still be looking for me." Jack raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "Who's looking for you? What happened?" The woman studied his face in the moonlight, seeming to weigh whether she could trust this stranger. Finally, desperation won out over caution. "My name is Sarah Mitchell. My husband and I, we had a homestead about 10 miles north of here. 3 days ago, a group of men came. Her voice broke. "They killed my husband and burned our home. Now they're hunting me." Jack felt something cold settle in his stomach. Why would they do that? Our land sits on a water source, a spring that never runs dry. They want it, and they'll kill anyone who stands in their way. Jack helped Sarah to a sheltered spot behind a large boulder, then offered her water from his canteen. As she drank, he noticed her hands shaking, not from cold, but from the trauma of the past few days. "Tell me what happened," Jack said gently. "All of it." Sarah took a shuddering breath. "Their leader is a man named Colt Brennan. He's been buying up homesteads throughout the territory, but when people won't sell, he takes what he wants anyway. My husband David wouldn't sell. He said the land was our future, our children's future." Her voice grew stronger as she continued. "Brennan came with 5 men. They offered David money, good money, but he refused. That's when they—" She couldn't finish the sentence. "How did you escape?" Jack asked. "David told me to run the moment he saw them riding up. I hid in the root cellar while they did what they did. I heard the gunshots, smelled the smoke. When I finally came out, everything was gone. David was—" She wiped tears from her cheeks. "They burned the house with him inside." Jack felt a rage building in his chest that he hadn't experienced in years. "Where are they now?" "I don't know. I've been moving at night, hiding during the day. But they have horses, and they know this country. It's only a matter of time before they find me." Sarah looked at him with desperate eyes. "I don't know why I'm telling you this. You should just ride away and forget you ever saw me." Jack stood slowly, his mind racing. Every instinct told him to do exactly what she suggested, to ride away and let someone else deal with this problem. But as he looked at this broken woman, He saw something that reminded him of his own mother, widowed young and left to face the world alone. "How many men does Brennan have?" he asked. "6 total, counting himself. They're all armed, and they know how to use their weapons." Jack nodded grimly. "Then we'd better get moving." Sarah stared at him in disbelief. "You don't understand. These men are killers. They'll murder you without a second thought." Jack helped her to her feet, his jaw set with determination. "Maybe. But I can't just leave you out here to die." "Why?" Sarah asked. "You don't even know me." Jack was quiet for a long moment, looking out over the land that had been his prison and his sanctuary for so many years. "My father built this ranch with his bare hands. He always said a man's worth isn't measured by what he owns, but by what he's willing to fight for. I've been hiding from that lesson for too long." Sarah studied his weathered face in the moonlight. "You're serious about this?" "Dead serious." Jack moved toward Thunder. "My ranch house is about 5 miles from here. It's built like a fortress. Stone walls, good sight lines, plenty of ammunition. If they want to take you, they'll have to go through me first. And if we don't make it—" Jack swung up into the saddle, then reached down to help Sarah up behind him. "Then at least we'll go down fighting." As they rode through the darkness toward Jack's ranch, Sarah held tight to his waist, and for the first time in days, she felt something other than terror. She felt hope. "What's your name?" she asked. "Jack Morrison." "Thank you, Jack Morrison. I won't forget this." Jack urged Thunder to a faster pace. He could see storm clouds gathering on the horizon, and he had a feeling they'd need every advantage they could get. Behind them, the sound of distant hoofbeats echoed across the prairie. The chase had begun. By dawn, they had reached Jack's ranch house, a sturdy stone structure built into the side of a low hill. Jack quickly led Thunder to the barn, then helped Sarah inside the house. He moved with practiced efficiency, checking ammunition, securing windows, and filling water barrels. "How long do we have?" Sarah asked. "Not long. They'll have picked up our trail by now." Jack handed her a rifle. "Do you know how to use this?" Sarah nodded. "David taught me. I'm not a great shot, but I can hit what I aim at." "Good. We'll need every advantage we can get." Jack positioned himself at the front window while Sarah took the back. The house commanded an excellent view of the surrounding terrain, but Jack knew it also made them sitting ducks if Brennan's men could get close enough. They didn't have to wait long. Around mid-morning, 6 riders appeared on the horizon, moving in a wide line across the prairie. Even at a distance, Jack could see they were professionals, the way they spread out, the way they moved their horses, the way they scouted the terrain. "That's them," Sarah whispered from the back window. "Brennan's the one in the black hat." Jack studied the approaching riders through his rifle scope. Brennan was a tall man with silver hair and cold eyes, the kind of man who'd kill for money and sleep soundly afterward. The others looked like typical hired guns, hard men with dead eyes and quick hands. "They're going to try to surround us," Jack said. "When they do, we wait for them to make the first move." The riders stopped about 200 yards from the house. Jack could see them talking, pointing at different approaches. Then Brennan cupped his hands and called out, "Morrison, we know you're in there, and we know you have our property with you. Send the woman out and we'll let you live." Jack didn't respond. He'd learned long ago that talking to men like Brennan was a waste of time. "You've got 1 minute to decide," Brennan shouted. "Then we come in shooting." Jack glanced at Sarah, who had moved to a side window. Her face was pale but determined. "Whatever happens," she said, "don't let them take me alive." "It won't come to that," Jack replied, though he wasn't sure he believed it himself. The minutes stretched into eternity. Then Brennan gave a signal, and his men began to move. The attack came from 3 sides at once. 2 men rode hard toward the front of the house, while 2 others approached from the flanks. Brennan and 1 other man hung back, probably planning to move in once the initial assault had softened up the defenders. Jack took careful aim and fired. His first shot took one of the frontal attackers from his saddle. The man tumbled to the ground and didn't get up. The second rider veered off, taking cover behind a water trough. From the side window, Sarah's rifle cracked, and Jack heard someone curse in pain. Good. She'd hit her target. The battle settled into a deadly game of cat and mouse. Brennan's men tried to get close enough to rush the house, but Jack's superior position and knowledge of the terrain kept them at bay. However, ammunition was limited, and Jack knew they couldn't hold out forever. As the sun climbed higher, the temperature inside the stone house began to rise. Jack wiped sweat from his eyes and considered their options. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had one advantage: desperation. "Sarah," Jack called softly, "I'm going to try something. When I give the signal, put as much fire as you can toward the front of the house. What are you planning?" "Something probably stupid." Jack checked his ammunition, 6 rounds left in the rifle, 12 in his pistol. Not much, but it would have to do. He moved to the back door and waited. The opportunity came when 2 of Brennan's men tried to flank the house from the right. Jack slipped out the back door and circled around, using the barn as cover. He managed to get behind the 2 men just as they were preparing to rush the house. "Drop your weapons," Jack said quietly. The men spun around, going for their guns. Jack's pistol barked twice, and both men fell. But the sound of the shots had alerted the others, and now Jack found himself caught in the open. Brennan himself appeared around the corner of the house, his gun already drawn. Well, the famous Jack Morrison. "I should have known you'd be foolish enough to play hero." "Let her go, Brennan. Your fight is with me now." Brennan laughed. "My fight is with anyone who stands between me and what I want. That woman knows where her husband hid the deed to the spring. I need that deed. She doesn't know anything about a deed. Maybe not. But she'll remember when I start cutting pieces off her." Jack saw the madness in Brennan's eyes and knew there would be no reasoning with him. This would end only one way. "You're going to have to go through me first," Jack said. "I was hoping you'd say that." Both men drew at the same time. Jack's bullet took Brennan in the chest, spinning him around. Brennan's shot went wide, chipping stone from the house wall. As Brennan fell, Jack heard the sound of approaching hoofbeats and saw the 2 remaining gunmen riding hard toward him. But Sarah had moved to the front window, and her rifle spoke twice in quick succession. One rider fell, and the other veered off, apparently having had enough of the fight. Jack walked over to where Brennan lay gasping in the dirt. "The woman is under my protection now," he said. "Pass the word." Brennan's eyes glazed over, and he was gone. 3 days later, Jack stood on his front porch, watching Sarah load her few possessions into a wagon. The territorial marshal had come and gone, taking statements and confirming that Brennan's gang had been wanted for multiple murders across 3 counties. There would be a reward, though Jack had little interest in blood money. "Are you sure about this?" he asked Sarah. She turned to face him, and Jack was struck by how different she looked. The haunted expression was gone, replaced by something that might have been hope. "I can't stay here, Jack. There are too many memories, too much pain. But I'll never forget what you did for me." Jack nodded, understanding. "Where will you go?" "I have a sister in California. She's been asking me to come visit for years." Sarah smiled. "Maybe it's time I took her up on that offer." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the sun set over the mesa. Jack realized that for the first time in years, the solitude didn't feel oppressive. It felt like peace. "What about you?" Sarah asked. "Will you stay here?" Jack looked out over his land, the same land that had been his prison and his sanctuary. But now it felt different somehow, not smaller, but more connected to the world beyond its boundaries. "For now," he said. "But maybe not forever." Sarah climbed up onto the wagon seat and took the reins. "If you ever change your mind about that solitary life, you know where to find me." Jack watched her ride away until she disappeared over the horizon. Then he turned and walked back into his house, but this time, he left the door open. The sound of the wind through the open door didn't sound lonely anymore. It sounded like possibility.